What if I told you that 95 out of 100 companies investing in AI are getting absolutely nothing in return? Well, MIT just revealed the most comprehensive investigation into AI in business ever conducted. 6 months, 52 organizations, 153 executives, over 300 AI implementations were analyzed from inside. And what they found is not what anyone expected. This report, all 26 pages, exposes something they are calling the Gen AI divide. And once you understand that, you'll never look at AI the same way again, because right now, there are two worlds. In one world, companies are burning billions of dollars on AI that does absolutely nothing. In other world, a very small group of companies have figured out something everyone else is missing. And these small group of companies are extracting millions while everyone else is getting zero. So by the end of this video, you are going to know what exactly that small group knows. And if you are in business or building AI or just trying to understand where this all is going, what you're about to learn changes everything. So let's set the stage. It's 2025. AI is everywhere. Your LinkedIn feed is endless stream of people talking about how AI is transforming their business. Every conference is packed with sessions on Gen AI. CEOs are racing to announce the AI initiatives. The headlines are insane. There's headlines saying AI will replace 80% of the jobs, or headlines are saying the AI revolution is here, or headlines are saying companies without AI will die. Well, the money is also absolutely being poured in. In fact, between 30 to 40 billion dollars have been invested into enterprise Gen AI in last 18 months. That's a lot of money. And that's not venture capital going into AI startups, that is enterprises. That's big companies, actual companies spending their own money buying and building AI tools. So, MIT's Project Nanda, which is Networked Agents and Decentralized Architecture, NANDA, they are the research team that did this report. They wanted to answer a simple question. Is all of this AI investment actually working? Is it? Is it working? So they spent 6 months doing something nobody else has done at this scale. They talk to CIOs, they talk to CTOs, they talk to VPs of operation, they talk to procurement heads, and actual frontline users of AI. They looked at pilot programs, they looked at field programs, they looked at successful deployments, everything, and then they compiled all of this data. And what they found is what we are learning about today, which is 95% of organizations that have implemented AI in some capacity getting zero returns. And it's not slow ROI. It's not, hey, we are still early. It's not, hey, we are building the future. It's zero. Nothing. No measurable impact on profit and loss statements. But here's what makes this so interesting. 5%. The remaining 5, the other 5, they are extracting millions of dollars in value, real measurable bottom line impact. And the outcomes are so starkly divided that MIT gave it a name. It's called the Gen AI Divide. Because, well, here's the first counterintuitive finding, this divide. The thing that separates winners from losers. And it's not about model quality. Everyone has access to great AI models. It's not about regulations because everyone has the same rules. It's not about budget because the companies that they have researched have a lot of budget. It's not about technical talent. They are hiring AI engineers. It's about something completely different, and we'll get to that. But first, here's something else. MIT tracked what happens when companies try to implement AI. Where are things going wrong? What's the pilot death valley? This is where the AI pilots go and die. Not just, right? So, stage one, the investigation stage of implementing AI in companies. Well, it turns out that 60% of companies who are evaluating custom AI tools, they are excited. The demos look great. They can see the potential. But only 20% of them actually move forward to an actual pilot program. That means 60% die right here from evaluating the use of AI to actually doing a trial. Only 20% move forward to a pilot program. And from the ones who are actually moving to doing a pilot program, a trial, only 5% of them actually get into implementation. Only 5% successfully implement and reach production. That's another, whatever, 75% that died during the pilot phase. Now do the math. 60% evaluate, 5% implement. If 100 companies start evaluating an AI tool today, only 5 will have it working a year from now. 95% fail. But here's where it gets really weird. Because the report shows two completely different stories depending on what type of AI are we talking about. Very interesting. There are generic tools. There are generic AI tools that we know of. And there's like ChatGPT and Claude and Copilot, all these consumer-facing AI assistants. Well, that is a higher implementation rate. Right? 80% of companies explore them. So that's good. That's 83% implementation rate. 83% of these big companies, they implement all of these frontier generic AI tools. In terms of custom enterprises, the implementation rate drops. And the ones who are building AI specifically for their company's workflow, or they are going to these AI vendors and asking for solutions that is tailored to their own process. There, they only have 8% implementation rate. So think about what this means. The $20 per month, the $20 per month tool that anyone can sign up for has a 10 times more success rate than a probably $500,000 custom system that is built specifically for your company. That paradox. That's the key to understanding everything. And it gets even weirder. So, while MIT was interviewing these executives about their official AI initiatives, most of which were failing, they started noticing something strange in their data. When they talked to actual employees, when they talked to frontline workers, the people doing the day-to-day work, they found something nobody expected. Which is there's a massive shadow economy of AI usage that companies and companies' leadership don't even know about. What does that mean? Well, look at this gap. 40% of companies purchase official AI subscription. for their employees. Hey, employees, here's your official ChatGPT. Only 40% of these companies have done that. But the reality says 90% of employees are using AI tools for work. You see this gap? That's a 50 percentage point gap. Where is it coming from? What is this gap? Only 40% of companies are giving AI accounts, but 90% of employees are using AI, which means they are using personal accounts on probably personal devices. Personal ChatGPT subscription, personal cloud account. People are using their own AI tools on their own devices to do company work. And most companies have no idea. In fact, there was this quote in the report. And one executive told the researchers that they have spent $50,000 on specialized tools. Especially for this case, they had spent $50,000 on a specialized contract analysis tool. It was a specialized, a custom one. And the executive told the researchers that the executive knew for a fact that no one in their team was using it. And the executive knew that people were running these contracts through ChatGPT on their personal phones instead of using this $50,000 specialized tool. Now, think about what this means. Well, while companies' official AI initiatives are stuck in doing pilots and doing trials and dying at a rate of 92%, employees have already figured it out on their own. They have decided to use AI, they have decided to use their own AI compared to companies' trials or pilots or custom tools. The AI revolution that everyone's talking about, it's already happening. And it's not just happening through corporate channels, it's happening through personal $20 subscriptions that people are using multiple times every single day. Now that we know that employees are already using AI without you or the leadership knowing, here's where things get even more interesting. Because MIT dug deeper into why is this happening. And they found something that honestly blows my mind. They asked users to compare their experience with consumer AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity versus their company's expensive custom built AI system. Right? The researcher says, hey, consumer AI versus your company's custom AI. And by the way, remember, when we say custom AI, it is custom built for the company. But most of these custom AI were using the exact same underlying model. So, for example, ChatGPT works on GPT-4o, GPT 4.1, GPT-5, whatever. ChatGPT works on some models. And most of these custom models also worked on the same models that ChatGPT works on. So it's basically fundamentally the same brain, the same AI model. So when they're asked, hey, what's the comparison? ChatGPT versus your company's AI. How do you feel? Well, 80% of people say that ChatGPT gave better answers. Now, is that possible? Is that true? Well, is it possible? Yes. Maybe not. Is it true? Maybe not. Why? Because it's the same AI. Maybe the custom AI is built with better database, better knowledge base, better expertise into your specific task. So I find it hard to believe. It could be true, but how could a custom model not give a better answer than a generic one? Maybe it's just how it's perceived. Think about that. 60% of employees say that they are already familiar with the interface of ChatGPT or Claude or whatever consumer AI, so they prefer it better. And 50% people say that they trust consumer AI like ChatGPT more than the custom AI built by their own company. Wait, what? They trust it more? The free, the cheap consumer tool that anyone can access is trusted more than the custom enterprise system that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to build. That's what's happening. Same model, same underlying technology, but completely different user experience, completely different trust level, completely different results. In fact, within the research, a corporate lawyer put it perfectly. She said that our purchased AI tool provides more rigid summaries with limited customization. But when we use ChatGPT, well, we can guide ChatGPT's conversation and iterate with ChatGPT until we get exactly what we need. So the fundamental quality difference is noticeable, even though the vendor claims to use the same technology. That's what, well, one of the researchers said. So if 95% of companies are failing, where's all of this money actually going? It keeps getting better and better and more interesting, right? If 95% of companies are failing to implement custom AI, where did the failed money go? MIT researchers asked these executives to break down their AI budget. Well, they say 50% goes to sales and marketing, right? All the AI generated emails and chatbots and lead scoring and social sentiment analysis, all the visible, good looking stuff. Right? So, whoever's in sales and marketing, you know that you are getting a lot of budget to use AI. 15% to operations, 15% to customer service, 10% to finance and procurement. But here's the twist, the money is being spent where it looks good. The money is being spent where it looks good to spend money. But this is not where money is being made from. In terms of ROI, in terms of actually having a good utility of AI, this is where the money goes, but that's not where the money comes from. That's not where the ROI comes from. Well, where's the ROI coming in from? Right? The companies that actually crossed the divide, the companies that actually crossed the chasm, the companies that actually in the top 5% of really using AI, where are they seeing the returns from? One is from back office automation. Right? $2 to $10 million are saved annually by eliminating BPO contracts. That's that. That's where they are getting ROI from, back office stuff. They also see 30% reduction in external agency spend. You know how you cannot do a lot of stuff in house. You don't want to hire full time people. You pass on some of this work to agencies. Well, now you can outsource the outsourced work to AI. What you outsource to agencies, now you outsource to AI, especially the back office stuff. That's what's working, right? Companies are saving $1 million and more on outsourced risk management. In terms of front office improvements, well, they're getting 40% faster lead qualification. So that's a part of sales. They're improving their customer retention by 10% by using AI. And here's the kicker. Most of these gains are not through cutting internal headcount. If you think of all of these things, that is actually giving ROI. None of this is by firing people. Well, it is by firing an external agency, but it's not by firing an in-house team. I'm not saying people are not getting fired, they are. But where the ROI is coming from, according to the research, it's not through firing people. They are eliminating external contracts and they are making their existing teams more productive. There was an executive who was researched who said that we have replaced our entire customer service BPO contract with an AI system, and that's saving them $4 million every year. Their internal team stays the same. So that's what's happening. So we established that 95% are failing, 5% are winning. There's this massive shadow economy of people using AI successfully on their own. But now let's get to the core question. And the core question is, why are these 95% failing? MIT and this research dug into this hard. They surveyed executive sponsors, the frontline users, and they asked, hey, what's actually stopping you from scaling AI? Well, the number one answer was unwillingness to adopt new tools. Okay, expected. And the number two answer is where it gets interesting. Model output quality concerns. Wait, what? We just established that people love using ChatGPT, and 90% of employees are using AI tools personally. So why are they saying quality is a concern? Even though 90% of people are using AI personally. Well, that's where MIT identified what they call the learning gap. And this is the entire answer to why companies are on the wrong side of the divide. Why companies are on the 95% side of the divide. And remember the corporate lawyer I mentioned? The one who uses ChatGPT every single day and loves it? MIT followed up with her about why she does not use it for her most important client. And the lawyer said that ChatGPT or AI is excellent for brainstorming and creating the first drafts, but it does not retain knowledge. It does not know client preferences. It does not learn from my previous conversations and previous edits. It repeats the same mistakes. It requires extensive context input for each session, for each chat. So if there's any high stakes work, the lawyer said, I would need a system that accumulates knowledge and improves over time. So she's saying that ChatGPT is amazing for one-off tasks, but for anything that requires remembering past interactions or learning from corrections, right, or building on previous work or understanding context over time, it fails because it does not learn. It forgets everything after each conversation. So it's happening. So MIT asked hundreds of users, right? Hey, would you assign this task to AI or to a junior colleague? That's an interesting comparison, right? Would you ask ChatGPT or an AI to do this task, or would you ask a junior colleague to do this task? And the results are striking. For quick tasks like writing emails or writing summaries or doing basic analysis, 70% of people say that they prefer AI, only 30% say they prefer humans. For quick tasks, for small stuff. But for complex projects, or something that's like a multi-week work, or something that has to do with client management, of course, only 10% of people say they'll prefer AI, while 90% they'd say they would prefer humans. That's a flip. That's a 9-to-1 preference for humans over AI on complex work. But why? Why is that? Is it intelligence? No, it's not intelligence. ChatGPT is smart enough to handle complex work. Trust me on that. It's not about intelligence, it's about memory, it's about context, it's about learning. A junior colleague who might be less skilled, but they'll remember your feedback and they'll learn from mistakes and they build on previous conversations. Let me show you the data. When MIT asked users specifically what stops them from using AI for critical work, for complex work, here's exactly what they said. 70% of them said, hey, it does not learn from our feedback. 63% that say there's too much manual context. 60% that says they cannot customize the workflow. 55% that says AI, while doing complex works, it breaks in edge cases. So every single one of this is about the same thing. The tool does not learn, does not remember, does not evolve. And here's another finding that shocked me. Big companies, and Fortune 500s, enterprises with massive resources, they're actually worse at AI than mid-market companies. How interesting is that? Our bigger companies are worse at AI than medium-sized companies. So large companies over $1 million in revenue, most of their pilots launched, right? Most of them hired an AI staff, but had the lowest success rate. In fact, their average time to production, average time from pilot or a trial AI to production or using AI was more than 9 months. But for mid-market companies, they of course had fewer resources and smaller teams, but a higher success rate, and time to implementation is only 90 days. So what do we see here? Big guys are drowning in bureaucracy, in approval processes, in committee decisions. The smaller companies are moving fast. They're testing quickly. They're actually getting results. A VP of operations at a medium-sized company said to the researchers of MIT that, hey, rather than waiting for corporate to tell us what to use, we allowed the budget holders to surface the problems, to vet out the tools, and to lead any rollouts. Well, there's a better democracy. They said we went from 9-month pilots to 90-day deployments by letting the people decide. That's not something that big companies can easily do. So, I talked about the failure. Now let's talk about the 5% who figured it out because their playbook is incredibly clear and actionable. MIT found that the organizations who are successfully crossing the Gen AI divide all do three things different. And I mean completely different. The ones who are doing it right are doing three things differently. Strategy number one that they have. The first strategy that they have is they partner with external vendors instead of building internally. That's one thing that's common in the winners. They buy, they don't build. This is not always true. This is not always applicable, but that's what the data shows. Right? Strategic partnerships and AI developed through that is 66% success rate when you are buying and customizing with vendors. Internal development, building from scratch, in-house, your AI, 33% success rate. Right? Partnerships are winning 2-1. That's probably counterintuitive because the conventional wisdom is build your own tools and control your own destiny. Don't depend on vendors. Well, that's not making sense here. That's not what we see here. Right? But what happens when you build internally is you are starting from zero. You need to figure out the AI infrastructure, the learning systems, the integration points, the failure modes. You are essentially building a product company inside your existing company. And that's tough. That's time consuming. That's resource consuming. But when you partner strategically, and this is important, you're not just buying generic software, but you're partnering to deeply customize. You're working with a team who's entire existence is building and improving this one thing. They've already solved the infrastructure. They've already hit the failure modes. They've already been learning from dozens of other companies. So that's strategy number one. Strategy number two is to empower the edges. What does it mean? Well, the companies who won, they let the frontline workers and line managers drive adoption. Not the central IT team, not AI labs, but the actual executioners. And the losers did it this way, which is a central AI lab. There's one. There's then a central committee, and then they pick use cases, and then they run evaluations, and then they go through procurement, and then 6 months of approvals. Maybe I'm smiling while talking like this. It's not. It's okay. I mean, let's have a lot of companies have to work. That's not ideal. The winners flip the script. They say, hey, let's go to individual contributors and team managers. Let's help them identify the problems. Let's them test the tools. Let's make them the champions of this transformation. And MIT calls these people prosumers. Prosumers. They are employees who are already using AI tools personally. They already understand the capabilities intuitively, and they should drive adoption from bottom up. Well, that's very interesting. And then the third one, the third strategy that the winners are doing is they only buy tools that actually learn and adapt over time. And this is the critical one. MIT created this framework to show the landscape, and you should screenshot this because it explains everything. Bottom left. Well, bottom left is where low learning and high customization tools exist. Top left is where low learning and low customization exist. On the right, we have high learning and low customization possibilities, and high learning, which is tools that are good at learning and could also be customized well, are the bottom right. So, going back to the beginning, bottom left is high customization but no learning. This is where most internal builds land. Internally, you build an AI. They're built for your specific workflow, but they're brittle. They don't learn from feedback. They don't improve over time. So even if you build it internally, maybe you customize it well because you are building it for your use case, but it does not learn. It's tough to build an AI that's really good at learning, especially internally. Top left is low customization. You're not able to customize it, and it has no learning capacity. So there's like basic wrappers around ChatGPT, which works okay for simple stuff, but it does not grow with you. So no meaning talking about that. Top right is interesting. Some memory. They have some memory, but they have low customization. Like ChatGPT has this new memory feature. It's better because it can remember, but it's still not tailored for your business. But the last one, the bottom right, the most interesting and the winner is high customization, high learning. This is where the winners live. These are what MIT calls agentic workflows, which are AI systems that are deeply customized to your process and continuously learn and improve from every interaction you have with them. Keep that in mind. That's what you want to aim for. Now, if you're building an AI company, pay attention because MIT uncovered exactly how the winning vendors, how the AI providers are getting in the door of AI adopters. All right, so this is how enterprises, big companies find AI solutions that they purchase. AI tools that they purchase. Most of them do that through existing vendor partnerships. 15% will do them through referrals. 13% of enterprises find AI tools or AI services or AI vendors to work with through peer recommendations. 10% through board introductions, 9% through conferences, 6% through industry publications, less than 1% through cold outbound emails. What's the translation? The translation is relationships matter more than product features, trust matter more than demos. So that's interesting. And the specific categories that are actually working in terms of AI tools. Well, the best ones is voice calls or voice AI for call summaries or call routing. There's document automation for contracts. There's code generation for repetitive tasks. But what's struggling in terms of AI categories is complex decision, as we learned, optimizing stuff that has a proprietary heuristic. If we have a proprietary internal IP kind of SOP or operating procedure or rules or logic, and you want to optimize it, and that's where AI struggles, or anything that needs deep enterprise specific logic. So, what the winners are doing is they're starting narrow. They are proving value first, they're providing value faster, and then they're expanding. So, this is for all who's creating an AI solution. Up to next, what is the agentic web that we talk about? Right? The report has spent significant amount of effort in explaining agentic systems. The winner of this AI capability metrics, the bottom right, that is where things are heading, and that is where things get really interesting. MIT talks about something they call the agentic web, and it represents the fundamental shift in how we think about AI. Right now, we use AI like this. That is, you have a task, you open ChatGPT or Claude, you type a prompt, you get an answer. Maybe you go back and forth a few times, then you close it, it forgets everything. Tomorrow, you start over. But the agentic web is completely different because it's an AI system that remembers every interaction you have had. It works autonomously without constant prompting. It coordinates with other AI systems across the internet. It improves continuously based on the outcomes, and it executes complete workflows from start to finish. It does the job for you. Imagine a procurement agent. This is an example. Let's say there's a procurement agent. What does it do? Well, this procurement agent will monitor your inventory. Based on that, it will predict your need. And then it will search the internet for the best potential suppliers. And then it will negotiate terms. And then it will do pricing autonomously. And then it will execute contracts. And then it will, make sure that all the parameters are meeting within the contracts. And then it will learn from every transaction to improve future negotiations. But that's what agentic web looks like. And let me give another example. Let's say there's a customer service agent or assistant. It will handle all of your inquiries end to end. It will not only just respond to tickets, it will remember every customer, every interaction across all channels with all customers. It will learn what works, it will learn what does not work for each customer and each customer type. It can also coordinate your billing and your shipping and your products, all of it automatically. And will continuously improve its responses based on satisfaction scores. That's what we are talking about. That is agentic web. And to implement agentic web, well, there needs to be an infrastructure. And the infrastructure for this is being built right now. There are a few protocols you need to know about. I'll not get into technicalities, but there is something called as an MCP, which is Model Context Protocol from Anthropic. Again, all of these are technicalities that allow you to build an agent or take your AI towards agentic web. There's also A2A, which is agent to agent from Google and Linux Foundation. There's Nanda, which is the team who's created this report from MIT. So think about how the original World Wide Web works. How does the www work? Websites link to each other through hyperlinks. You can navigate from one page or one website to another. The information flows freely. That's what agentic web will look like. It's the same concept, but instead of linking documents or linking HTML files or websites or web pages, you're linking intelligent agents. And instead of you clicking from one website to another, the agents will coordinate with each other autonomously by themselves. And here's why this matters to you right now, like today. Whether you are running a business or building an AI company, the report says that organizations now only have 18-month window to make their AI vendor decisions. This is very interesting, and I never thought about it earlier. But now it makes a lot of sense. What does it say? It says that companies, organizations, enterprises who want to use AI, they only have next 18 months to decide which AI. Why? Think about it. I'll give you a second to think about it. Well, you only have 18 months because after that, the switching cost will become almost insurmountable. What do I mean? Well, once an AI system that you have used learns your workflows, learns your customer preferences, learns your team patterns, learns your business logic, learns your historical decisions, moving to a new system means you have to start from zero. All of that accumulated knowledge gone. If you have to switch. And there's this code that comes from 17 procurement and IT sourcing leaders that the team at MIT interviewed. The code says in the next few quarters, several enterprises will lock in vendor relationships that will be nearly impossible to unwind. The organizations that pick the right partners in 2025 and 2026 will have systems that get smarter every single day, every single minute, every single second. And it will only compound to their advantage. It will become nearly impossible to displace. The organizations will pick wrong or will wait for too long. They'll be stuck with systems that cannot keep up. And the gap will widen exponentially. While your competitors will be compounding on the advantages, your gap will be compounding as a disadvantage. Right? Well, there's that. And well, also to address the job reality. Right? And I don't address this because everyone wants to know what about the jobs? And here's what's actually happening according to the data, no hype, real data. The current impact is there's 5 to 20% reduction in customer support and administrative roles. But these roles, or most of these, were already outsourced. The internal teams are largely stable in size. But there are industries that are more affected. For example, tech and media. Well, the irony of it, the tech develops the AI, but the tech gets impacted the most. Well, the tech and media industry, 80% of executives expect to hire less over the next 2 years. But the industries with the least impact, or as They are saying zero impact, which I don't necessarily agree. It's going to be less impact, but not zero. It's going to be healthcare, energy, and manufacturing. There's going to be 0% hiring reduction according to that. So that's that. There's this very interesting quote from one of the VP of operations at these companies that were researched about what is changing in the job market in terms of the skills that they're looking out for. So this VP of operations said that their hiring strategy now prioritizes candidates who demonstrate good AI tool proficiency. Recent grads have often exceeded experienced professionals in this capacity. So you see how who's going to be hired is completely different. It's not someone who has 20 years of experience. It's someone who has zero experience but knows how to use AI. That's so cool. So, well, if you are entering the workforce or are changing careers, AI literacy is not optional anymore. It's table stakes. But if you can combine AI literacy with complex judgment or decision making and relationship management and strategic thinking, which are the things AI struggles with, you are actually more valuable than ever. MIT's companion research called Project Iceberg, they estimated $2.3 trillion in labor value, affecting 39 million jobs, has latent automation exposure. I want to explain that. Latent automation exposure to 39 million jobs, $2.3 trillion in labor value. Sounds like a scary word. But latent means it's technically possible, it's not happening yet. Why? Because AI systems don't have the memory or learning or autonomous capabilities needed yet. It's very clearly visible. It's called latent because it's very clearly visible. It's there. It's there after 5 years. I don't know. After 15 years, it's there. We can see it. It's not here yet. So we know it's going to happen. We know that there's going to be an exposure of automation to 39 million jobs. The transformation, of course, will be gradual. It's not going to be sudden. It's not a cliff. It's a slope. It's happening over years as these capabilities develop. It's not going to be, of course, overnight. Well, let me destroy 5 myths for you before we wrap up. Myth number 1, AI will replace most jobs soon in next features. Next future or next few years. Again, this is not my personal opinion. This is all that's concluded from the report in a way. So, myth number 1, will AI replace most jobs in the next few years? Well, the reality is there's limited displacement. There's only huge displacement of workers in already affected industries. Most internal teams are stable. There's limited displacement of people. Again, I know with a lot of news of layoffs or with a lot of actual layoffs, there sounds a little counterintuitive. Again, I'm not giving any of my personal reasons here. This is what the report says. Myth number 2, the report says, is generative AI is transforming business. Is it? Well, 95% of businesses are getting zero ROI. Only 2 out of 9 industries are showing real structural change. So, is it already transforming businesses? That's a question mark. Myth number 3, enterprises are slow to adapt. Well, 90% of explore aggressive. They are not slow to adapt. They are slow to implement. Sounds funny, but well, there's a difference. They're exploring it. They want to adopt, but well, they're failing to implement it. the way how their company works. Myth number 4, there's legal and the legal and the risk compliances or regulations are holding back AI. Is that true? Well, no. The real blocker is the tools that don't learn, the tools that don't remember, the tools that don't adapt to workflows. It's not legal or, well, risk compliances. Myth number 5, best companies build internally. No, internal builds are failing twice as often or twice as much as strategic partnerships with vendors. So here's what it all comes down to. The bottom line of this. There's two sides of GenAI Divide. On one side, 95% of companies are burning billions with nothing to show for it. On the other side, there's 5% quietly building systems that learn and adapt and compound value every single day. The difference is not access to technology. Everyone has access. It's not budget. Both sides, this and this, are spending money. It's not even talent. The difference is understanding. The 5% understand that AI without memory is just an expensive autocomplete. They understand that generic tools cannot transform specific workflows. They understand that learning systems create compounding advantages. And now you understand it too. So if you're running a business, stop building from scratch, partner strategically, empower your frontline workers, and demand systems that actually learn and move fast. You have 18 months before these decisions lock you in for life. Right? If you're building an AI company, start narrow, build systems with memory, win through relationships, expect heavy customizations on your systems, and target mid-market for speed. And if you're an employee, master these tools now. Master AI tools right now. Document your productivity. Focus on complex judgment work that compounds with AI assistance. And AI literacy is non-negotiable. Well, that's it. If you got value from this, send it to one person who needs to see it. A founder, a CEO, someone drowning in AI hype who needs a reality check. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.